So, this is gonna be about sleeping and why we sleep. I hope at least. Yeah, fuck. So, sorry if you might can hear the noises outside there, but I just closed the door. Wait a second. Only a second. So, today we're actually on a completely another website, but I found it is an extremely great one because we're going through why we sleep. The problem there is I might have gone through this book already, I don't know, but at least I haven't been going through such an incredibly detailed summary of it because it's, I don't know, I guess it's 10,000 fucking words. So it might take me a pretty fucking long time to actually finish this one, but I have to say, sleep is something that's very interesting for me. The problem is I'm not sleeping that much at the time because I'm working all the fucking time. But I do also think that this is very important for a lot of people to actually know, okay, why do we sleep? Why do we need sleep? How can I get a better sleep? And so on and so on and so on. Even though I've been making a few videos of these kind because I have been talking about sleep, I have been talking why we need sleep and so on and so on. But this is very detailed and I'm very happy that I actually found this website. Also because, it is so incredibly detailed and it is for free. So yeah, we are on the, So this is the book we're going through today, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, PhD. So hopefully he knows what he's talking about. But I guess, it's a New York Times bestseller. I think it should be okay. I am a little in a hurry because I do have to do some things before 4 actually, and is a quarter before 3. So I do have only an hour and a quarter left. Which is not that much, but I hope I can bring you a lot of value in this episode. But yeah, so if you're like me, you sometimes try to get by with just 5 to 7 hours of sleep, or even less. You hope that you'll make it up in extra hours of productivity or by catching up on sleep on the weekend. There are plenty of excuses for being sleep deprived, a big deadline coming up, too much work, too binge-worthy of a TV show, social events you can't miss out on. The book Why We Sleep argues that this is totally short-sighted. More people are chronically sleep deprived than they realize, and the punishment for this are severe: reduced productivity and happiness, and increased risk of a panel of diseases, except for very rare genetic freaks, which are quite below 1% of the population, which I think are actually people that somehow need only 4 hours of fucking sleep a night, which is incredible. The standard sleep you should be getting every night is 8 hours without fail. This helpful New York Times bestseller covers how sleep happens, its major benefits, its frightening downsides when depriving, and the best way to get better sleep. So incredibly important, at least in my point of view. But I also have to say, unless you're happy, you can also get 4 or 5 hours of sleep. But I do know that if you're just really feeling bad, and if you aren't productive, and if you can't really do the things that you are passionate about and that just make you happy, if you can't do them, then you are not happy. So therefore, it is always like, okay, it makes sense. It totally makes sense, at least for me, to actually just only go for happiness. Because if you're happy, why the fuck would you complain? Because there is nothing to complain about. If you're happy, if you're doing well, and so on, and so on, and so on. But yeah, so in this book summary of We Sleep, we learn why your insane dreams are incredibly helpful for your problem solving, the 5 major reasons you are getting less sleep than you should and how to fix it, how being a night owl is determined by genetics and why night owls are punished by society, how chronic sleep deprivation destroys your body from weight gain and heart disease to Alzheimer's, a very rare inherited disease that causes incurable insomnia, then certain death within 10 months, and how a cocaine-addicted surgeon started the insanely sleep-depriving medical resistancy program. Sounds very promising. A cocaine-addicted surgeon. Who the fuck doesn't want to be just, kind of treated? Yeah, I think treated by him? I don't fucking know. Never mind. I do hope, because this is gonna be a book that I'm going to just spend a lot of time on. I do really hope that this is gonna just bring a lot of value to you. But let me see. I just have to see. Can I do that? I think I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Because there are actually also more books, and the problem, well, I'm definitely gonna spend a lot of time on the book, on this page. There's so many great books there. I'm just looking through all the things. A lot of them I haven't been gone through yet. I even feel a little bit bad that I actually chose the sleep book now, to be really honest. But I haven't mentioned I'm on the alancheng.com, I guess. Let me have a look. So Alan Cheng, everythingwrittentogether.com website / book summaries. Incredible website. Incredible. Really incredible. If you just, have a look at the detail of it's actually from 2019, so it's incredibly just recent site. It's just amazing how detailed this is. I can just show you. Yeah, this is all one fucking book. He even claims that he actually blah, 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 that he actually just puts somehow 90% of the whole book into 10% of the text the book needed, which is amazing. But yeah, we'll begin with a one-page book summary of why we sleep, and then we go ahead with part 1, this thing called sleep. So yeah, the one-page book summary of why we sleep, which is, I think, pretty great to see, okay, what's coming up, what we can expect from the whole thing, and so on. The problem is I'm going through it just no matter what. No, that's quite not true. I even have been just not going through certain books because I didn't enjoy them. I didn't feel like, this is something a lot of people can benefit from. But yeah, so sleep is universal in animals, even in insects and worms. This alone suggests a vital function of that it isn't simply a vestigial byproduct of evolution. In the current nutrient-rich environment, humans in general need 8 hours of sleep to function optimally. True low sleepers, chronically below 6 hours of sleep or night without impairment of function, are incredibly rare. Less than 1% of the population. Everyone else is distinguishing their sleep deprivation with caffeine and sleeping pills. Well, that's true. Insidiously, you're very bad at objectively assessing your decrease in performance under sleep deprivation. I think that's true. I think what this just means is that you can't actually just notice yourself that your productivity or your overall performance is actually lacking if you're under sleep deprivation. Which makes sense, the same thing as, drug addicts do not, maybe, I guess, don't even realize when they are just addicts. Fasting and starvation does lower sleep, which is why hunter-gatherer tribes show 6.5 hours of sleep, which is then picked up by popular media. So fasting and starvation does lower sleep. Does this make sense? I don't fucking know, but so if you're fasting, you practically need a lower amount of sleep. I think this was also the reason why he just beforehand pointed out that we, the people who are living in such an environment where we have so many nutrients and we have so many, I think, calories to consume as well, we just need the sleep. It would make sense because we just have to somehow, prepare all the stuff we have eaten, or to just, absorb all the stuff we have eaten. Even though I do have to say we're just doing this just by now, because if I'm eating something, I do not really have to wait until I'm sleeping to actually, kind of absorb all the nutrients that were in the certain product or food or whatever it is. But yeah, Could be true. I don't fucking know. I'm not an expert, and therefore I'm just going to go through this book to get an expert. Sleep has two general types, the NREM and the REM. So I don't know what the NREM is, but the REM is the rapid eye movement stage where I think, and hopefully they just pointed out afterwards, where we just really regenerate our health and our body, and and so on and so on and so on. So the NREM occurs early in the sleep phase, while REM is concentrated later. The NREM is low, which means 2 hertz, like billions of neurons signing in synchrony, while REM is fast, 50 hertz, and looks like being awake. The NREM is responsible for pruning memories, transferring short-term memory to long-term memory, gaining muscle memory, growth hormone secretion, and parasympathetic nervous system activation. The REM is responsible for forming new neural connections, problem solving, dreaming, blunting, emotional response to painful memories, reading other people's facial emotions, and neonatal synaptogenesis. Whatever the fuck this is. Both are generally necessary. Depriving a person of either one leads to different problems. Sleep deprivation shows constantly worse outcomes. Nothing is reported to be beneficial from sleep deprivation. Higher mortality, risk of cancer, heart disease, weight gain, rate of infection, Alzheimer's, irritability, inflammation, lower productivity, social fluidity, rational decision-making, memory recall, emotional control, testosterone, immune system, function response to flu, vaccine, it's vaccine. In the extreme, chronic sleep deprivation causes death. Well, that's true. That should be true. The thing is, no one ever tried it out, because I even looked it up if there is something correlated, something like that correlated to sleep deprivation, because I was just interested in it, because, as I said before, I do often lack sleep. And therefore I thought, are there actually very, very severe problems that I could just get through the lifestyle that I'm living? And yeah, it turned out they actually tried it out with mice, I guess, and it somehow took, I think, 30 days of not sleeping at all until they died. But I do wonder if, how they actually tried that. Maybe I don't even want to know. But yeah, so the actual thing is, it could be true. We do quite not. Well, I do think it was for us even as well. It's like 30 days without sleep, but who the fuck can mention just being up 30 hours or 30 days without sleep? If I'm remembering correctly. I'm very sorry if I'm not. But yeah, which would be just incredible to have fucking 30 days of no sleep in a row. I don't know. But yeah, so even the apparent increase in wakeful time to be productive is balanced by lower productivity and creativity. So even the apparent increase in wakeful time to be productive is balanced by lower productivity and creativity. Well, so how to improve your sleep? Sleep and wake up at the same time every day. Good advice, totally, because our body gets somehow in such a, we like habits and we like patterns and whatsoever, and it makes sense that our body just finds it easier to wake up at the exact same time than actually waking up at a different time every singular day. But yeah, it is definitely hard to do, because during the week I'm actually getting up at 5:20, 5:30, 5 something, because I have to get to the train to drive to school or get to school. On the weekends, I do not particularly like to get up at 5 o'clock. Because the thing is, I, most of the time, unfortunately, have to recap a lot of sleep, or a bit of sleep, which then wouldn't be, that great if I'm just, lacking sleep, especially also then as well on the weekends. Not that good of an idea. Reduce light before sleep. Blue light is the most harmful, but even besides lamps, cause issues. Artificial light delays the circadian rhythm by hours. Do not fucking know that, or do not fucking understand that, but I do think I know what they actually mean. What I actually knew before is that the blue light, so all the lights that are just artificial, not like the sunlight, but my PC, my phone, this light that I'm having in my fucking hand, that I could even just put there to actually be a little bit lighter. And all these things actually just produce blue light, which is harmful for our... are there endorphins? I do not know. It was something with M. So there's a certain endorphin or certain just chemical in our body that actually just makes us sleepy. The thing is with blue light, it actually reduces, it actually produces the amount of... Why did it turn itself off? Is it finished? It's actually finished. Or is it destroyed? I don't know. It actually somehow changes the amount of these endorphins or chemicals that get put out or exposed or whatever in our body, so that we do not feel sleepy. Or we can sleep because there are no endorphins that actually just make our body get into the sleep. Because I do think there's certain processes that have to get made so that our body just is ready to sleep. Or at least it would make sense. I'm just assuming, I don't know, it would make sense for me. Cool body temperature before sleep. The ideal sleeping temperature is 65 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 18.33 degrees Celsius or 291.48 Kelvins, which is extremely cold at my point of view. I don't like to just, sleep in a room of, quite 90 degrees of Celsius or whatever, 65 degrees Fahrenheit, because it would be too cold for me. It is. And this is also something that I do just have to address. At my point of view, okay, science says you need 8 hours of sleep, and this is correlated to sleep, and this is not correlated to sleep, and whatsoever. But the thing is, if you feel, and if you understand, and if you recognize, and if you know that your body tells you, okay, I only need 6 hours, and I'm very happy with that, and I'm working perfectly with that, even though he just before pointed out that you do not even see the lower amount of productivity or creativity if you're under sleep deprivation. I would say just go for 7 hours of sleep. I don't know. It's the same thing with, okay, the ideal temperature is 65 degrees Fahrenheit. But a lot of people wouldn't like this, I guess. So I don't like it. I can't sleep when it's so cold. I don't give a fuck if my body finds this is the best temperature to go to or to go for, but I don't like it. And I couldn't just sleep because I was just, I don't know, I would just be feared that I'm getting ill because it is actually really cold. How many degrees do I have now? Now I have in my room 21.6, and this is quite okay for me. For me, 20 would be something to think about actually going to sleep in. But yeah. Don't drink alcohol unless it is completely metabolized by sleep time, including the aldehydes produced. Definitely, alcohol is in general somewhere that fucks your entire body. Don't drink caffeine at all. Good one, but especially not in the afternoon. It somehow says, or they somehow say that the half break time, so the amount of time it needs that the half of the consumption you have consumed is broken down into your body is somehow 8 hours. I guess. I'm not quite sure. I do not remember if I remember this correctly. But it was something like 8 hours. So the thing is, you actually should just, I think you should just consume caffeine 8 hours before you go to bed, because actually people use caffeine to actually get into a sleepier mood as well. Because caffeine, it may just boost your non-sleepiness in the first 5, 6, whatever hours, but afterwards you get really, really fucking sleepy, so even more sleepy than before. Which is then great for you, because if you're just timing it exactly right, then you actually could put yourself in the position where you actually can sleep pretty well, because you've just really, how should I say, because you just timed it that right, that you actually go to bed after 8 hours of the caffeine consumption. Yeah. Don't use alarms if you can help it. Alarms cause a huge stress reaction on waking, snoozing causing repeated traumas every morning. Exercise regularly but not 3 hours before sleep. And don't rely on sleeping pills. These are usually just sedatives that put you more in a sedation state than sleep. Yeah. Cool furniture sleep-related ideas. In cars, detect sleep deprivation, driving, and react like drunk driving. Shut it down, increase insurance premiums. So in cars, detect sleep deprivation, driving, and react like drunk driving. Shut it down, increase insurance premiums. Yeah, okay. Okay. Automated household that adjusts light and temperature to each person's circadian rhythm. Actually a good idea. Really good idea. If one can induce sleep naturally, can relieve not just insomnia but also PTSD and substance abuse. So if you can induce sleep naturally, you can relieve not just insomnia but also PTSD and substance abuse. Well, good to know, I'd say. The part 1, this thing called sleep. The chapter 1 of Why Sleep is just an intro, so we'll skip to chapter 2. Chapter 2, caffeine, jet lag, and melatonin. This is actually the, is it a dopamine? I don't know. So melatonin is actually the thing that I was just searching for before, which is actually the chemical. I don't say chemical, it's not a chemical, I know, but it's the chemical that's kinda just getting you to sleep, making you feel sleepy, and even more, I guess. Even more, I do think that it is actually just kind of triggering all the reactions that you need in your body to actually go to sleep then. Fuck yeah. So sleep is universal in animals despite its apparent drawbacks, vulnerability, loss of time for productivity. This must point to a vital function for sleep. Sleep is regulated by 2 mechanisms. A circadian rhythm regulated by melatonin, produced by the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This responds to light and darkness and is naturally 14 hours and 15 minutes long on average. And adenosine, which rises constantly through the day, absent sleep, and is depleted during sleep. So the adenosine rises constantly through the day, where you're not sleeping, and is depleted during the sleep. Okay, and there is now graph. Fortunately, I can actually show you this quite exactly on this graph, and this is then totally something all the podcast listeners do not have as much from that. But if you're interested in the graph, just go to the exact same time in the video, because it's the exact same audio of the video, and go to the point and just have a look at the exact same graph. But yeah, so you can see the sleep reduces adenosine, decreasing sleep pressure, or process S. So the circadian wake drive seems to be like you're pretty awake after you've got up, if it's 7 o'clock, then between 11 p.m. and I see. Okay. So in the morning you seem to be very, very just active. So if you're getting up, you seem to be very active, and just to the end of the day where you're gonna sleep, it's getting lower and lower and lower. So the circadian rhythm thing, whatever, which is the exact same thing with the adenosine kind of thing. I don't know, great thing. So sleep occurs when the mounting sleep pressure, adenosine, differs most with the circadian rhythm lull at nighttime. So sleep occurs when the mounting sleep pressure or the adenosine differs most with the circadian rhythm at nighttime. Oh, I see. You can see that. No, you can't see it. I can't see my mouse, unfortunately. But at 11 p.m., you can totally see that in the circadian rhythm, it is at the lowest point, but in the adenosine, mounting, sleep pressure, whatever, it is at the highest point. And then it goes to sleep, while then the circadian just, goes up again, while the adenosine goes down. So it's unproportional, I would say. Yeah, it's unproportional. So these two cycles explain why during an all-nighter you get a second wind in the morning. Here the circadian rhythm rises and reduces the circadian adenosine gap. So these two cycles explain why during an all-nighter you get a second wind in the morning. Strong urge to sleep, weak urge to sleep, overpowering urge to sleep. Yeah. So the more, the higher the difference between actually the adenosine pressure thing and your circadian rhythm is, the higher the urge is to sleep. Okay. Oh, okay, I do just see now, because they now explain why this just is important for you. Because caffeine blocks adenosine receptors. Has a half-life. Yeah, half-life was actually the thing that I was searching for. So caffeine has a half-life of 5 to 7 hours, depending on genetics for cytochrome P450 enzyme. Decaf apparently contains 15 to 30% of caffeine in regular coffee, and caffeine crash comes from increasing adenosine that is masked during caffeine active period. I see. So the caffeine crash is actually your receptors that somehow get blocked by the caffeine. They do not actually, because they are blocked, they can't actually see that there is so much adenosine in your body or whatsoever, and therefore you're just really getting sleepy if all the caffeine gets just away, because then your receptors see, what the fuck? I now see that there is a lot of sleepy mechanics in my fucking body. Very interesting. Very interesting. So morning people and night owls prefer very different sleep times and maximizing that energy at different times of day. These are strongly influenced by genetics. Evolutionary, having a mixture of morning people and night owls allows a population to reduce its vulnerability in nighttime to a shorter period of time. Makes sense. But in modern times, the night owls are heavily punished, since early work times and later preferred sleep times means greater sleep deficit, causing low performance in mornings. Furthermore, by the time night owls peak in the afternoon, the workday has already ended. I see, because their rhythm is somehow different, so that they just really lack energy in the morning and get more energy in the afternoon where they should sleep. I understand. Why jet lag feels worse flying eastbound? It requires falling asleep when the body wants to be awake. A more difficult task than staying awake when the body wants to sleep. Since the circadian rhythm is slightly longer than a day, lengthening it is easier than shortening it. So we make contact with aliens who live on a world with a totally different daytime cycle, like 65 hours. The conception of time and incompatibilities lead to various amusing scenarios. Signs of sleep deficit, not waking up naturally at time of alarm, needing to read sentence twice, drowsiness a few hours after waking, and need for coffee to feel functional. Great introduction to this book, and we've actually been going for a bit there. It is heavily scientific, but it's what I actually like. Actually, pretty interesting. I really enjoy that. Really, really enjoy that. Not gonna lie. But yeah, this is actually the end of the episode. I hope you got something out of it. I hope it was interesting for you as well. I do hope so, because it's generally very detailed, and I do feel like I even do not have to read the book for actually getting what I want. And this is great. I do afterwards just have to look at their How to Influence and Influence People summary, because if it is good, I may be just actually going through this one as well. Would actually be very interesting. But yeah, I hope you get the best health, wealth, happiness, and success. And don't forget about just thinking about how you're going to be remembered, so your legacy. And please give back to the people in your life. So whether they gave you something or not, doesn't matter. Just give them something. With that being said, hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you.